Hello, welcome to IPARC, an app that improves public awareness by reporting crime. True and relevant crime information isn't readily available, and this app should be a solution to that problem. It will help empower users to have access to that information at the tip of their fingers at all times, promoting safety and keeping communities informed and safe. The table of contents is really an overview for this presentation. Reasons for the idea for the app, how a user goes through the steps for the app, and for the next three sections, I took the system requirements document, the design document, and the testing documents and summarized them into easy-to-read graphics. There are many reasons why crime trends are not available or reported openly. One reason is government censorship. Although we're not as affected by this in our country, there are many nations where governments censor information before it's made available to the public. Data and information is not readily available or is edited to project the country, its militia, or leaders in a more favorable light. Some of these countries are Eritrea, North Korea, Turkmenistan, Saudi Arabia, China, Vietnam, Iran, Egypt, Cuba, Equatorial Guinea, and the list does go on. Countries are the worst culprits for internet censorship, green being the least and red being the most. As you can see, North Korea, China, and Iran are the worst culprits, followed by Iraq, Myanmar, Pakistan, and Turkmenistan. Then Russia, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, UAE. Most of the focus is on torrents, which is a shared file platform, pornography, and political editing, so the IPARC app may fly under their radar as it doesn't fall into these categories. Another reason crime data may be kept quiet is for financial purposes. Here in South Florida, crime reporting is suppressed to keep it from having a negative impact on revenue. Some of our busiest tourist communities have very high crime rates. For example, in Riviera Beach, it has a murder rate that is 7 times higher than the national average. That's why this isn't widely advertised. But if you live in or are looking for a home in Riviera Beach, you should be able to have that information at your fingertips. Neighbors have a right to know if there is a violent crime occurring close by, so they can take safety measures quickly. Another reason crimes go unreported is due to a fear of backlash. This is common in crimes that occur in the workplace. It's estimated that up to 90% of white-collar crimes go unreported, as workers are afraid of losing their jobs or to be overlooked for promotions. Perhaps if the IPARC app were available earlier, it wouldn't have taken so long for many victims to come forward during things like the Me Too movement. There's always empowerment in numbers, and being aware that there are other victims out there makes it easier to come forward against an abuser. I hope these examples have shown the reasons why the IPARC app is an important tool in empowering communities. It's an immediate and anonymous way to report crimes, to view crime trends, and to receive alerts should a crime be happening in your community. Whether you have observed an infraction or if you are a victim yourself, or maybe you just want the knowledge of reports in your area, IPARC can be a powerful tool. The user starts by opening the app, and here you can see some screenshots that the user will encounter while using it. Notice the simplicity of use. Pressing Go on the home screen directs the user to select a user ID, password, goes over the privacy policy, and allows users to select notification preferences. That is if they want to receive alerts if there's any crime going on in their neighborhood. And instructions are also there on how to use the app. Then users will have the option to view local crime trends or to report a crime themselves. This is an example of the trends screen. Users can choose to add a location or use the GPS tracking system on the app. Their location will then show with color-coded categories for the crimes recently reported in the area. By pressing the hot buttons, they'll be able to view additional information about that crime. Privacy measures are, of course, in place to ensure no direct addresses or people are depicted. Privacy is an important part of the testing. As you can see, a yellow button depicts a crime against property, including a vandalism or theft, and red depicts a physical crime of violence against a person or perhaps an animal being reported. Blue depicts an other category, which may often include fraud, office crimes, sexual harassment, embezzlement, etc. You can see how easy it would be to view clusters or reports in a given area. Here you can see the reporting screen. If a user needs to report a violation, there's a simple menu to choose from. There's a description of each crime when the category is chosen, and the user can choose to go back or continue in that category. This hypothetical user has selected the other category. Here they'll be able to add a text of up to 200 words to describe the infraction without using any names or addresses. When they hit continue, they'll have an option to upload photos or videos. These will be reviewed in detail before being added to the app to ensure they adhere to our privacy standards. When they're finished, their report will be added to the trends screen. This activity diagram goes through some of the stages a user would go through to report a robbery in the app. As you can see, the user would be prompted on a menu to select why they're using the app, asks if it is an emergency, as they would then be directed to call 911, asks location information, and asks the user to select the type of report they're making. This is a property crime. They'd then be prompted to give more details, verified through the app, and adds the information to the server. The server then saves to the database, and the information is added to the trend screen. This is an example of what kind of information the database can store and convey. Many of the statistics we receive are currently 1 or 2 years behind, but IPARC is capable of keeping a daily toll of statistics. These numbers are not accurate, just a sample of the kind of data that can be called up from the app. The user will also be reminded that the numbers on the app are not official statistics, but based on human reports, which are subject to error. If it's found that there's a major discrepancy of the app stats versus officially reported stats, and could be looked into further. Would that be because the app is inaccurate, or are people just more comfortable reporting anonymously without fear of having to go to court or retaliation? And that would make the app numbers much higher. If that happens, it raises a question: which statistics are more accurate? Now that you know why the IPARC app is important and what it can do, I'll talk about some of the specifics about the requirements, design, and test plans to implement the app. This slide goes over the purpose and scope of the IPARC app, and reiterating that the project aims to make crime data more public for improved awareness of arising issues within communities and neighborhoods. And it will be highly beneficial in areas or region where crimes go unreported due to victimization and stigma. The external interface requirements are divided into 3 categories: user interfaces, hardware interfaces, and software interfaces, and what each section would require. The functional requirements of the app are broken into really 2 parts: crime reporting and crime trend analysis. And the non-functional requirements are broken down into 5 sections: reliability, availability, security, portability, and performance. The following slides in the software design section depict graphics that were taken from the software design document. In this high-level system design document, you can see how the user interface interacts with the back-end system, including the database layer and the external geolocation service and notification API. And that information is either stored in the database if the user is reporting, or circles back to the user if the user is looking for location trends. IPARC follows a client-server architecture with a modular design. The class diagram for the IPARC system depicts various entities, their attributes, methods, and relationships. The 6 basic components are the user class, the admin class, crime report class, notification services, crime trends, and data analysis class. The data design for the IPARC app focuses on defining the structure, storage, and management of data within the system. The section provides an overview of the key data entities, their attributes, relationships, and the data flow. PK stands for primary key, a unique identifier, and FK is foreign key, which references a primary key. The data flow is basically data input, where users input data through the mobile app or web interface. Data storage, where data is stored in a MySQL database with tables corresponding to the key data entities. Data processing, where business logic processes the data, such as handling crime report submissions, generating notifications, and analyzing crime trends. Data output, where processed data is presented to users through the mobile app and web dashboard, including a crime trend visualization and notification services. This section is a summary of the software test document, summarizing what was written in the STD. It will refer to the software test document that was created in July 2024, defines the goals and scope of the IPARC app, specifies features, components, and behaviors, verifies accuracy of individual software modules, estimates risk by assessing features such as time, budget, and environmental conditions. The features in the IPARC app to be tested are somewhat extensive due to the sensitive nature of some of the information uploaded to the app. GPS location services must also be verified for accuracy, and the need for privacy parameters to be adhered to must be checked as well. And also all the other functional parts of the app, such as user registration and authentication, crime reporting, crime map visualization, notification system, user profile management, and the administrative features of the app. This was section 7 of the software test document and is a summary of the tools and products that could be utilized by the testing team to test all the features in the previous slides. My proposal actually outlined 17 tools, but there are too many tools outlined in my proposal, and realistically it would be difficult to train a team on all of these different products. It would be too time consuming and too expensive. But I just thought it was interesting to learn about all of the tools and products that are available to check all of these different things. Potential risks that could pop up during production are many, but here are just a few categories. There could be delays in defect fixing, resource availability. You might not have the hardware or software available that you need to test these products. Environmental setup issues could be difficult in maintaining a good staging environment for testing. Changes and modifications of the software product that were not planned and discussed with the test team beforehand could always crop up. And changes in the software requirements that were not discussed could also crop up. There could be delays in correcting and fixing these errors, and delays in delivering new builds to the test team. And in both of these, communication with the client is so important, and regular follow-up with developers on a daily, weekly basis is probably the best way so that there are no surprises in the end. And of course, there could always be personnel illnesses, absences, people moving, leaving the company, coming and going during the testing phase. So it's important to have some reliable contract workers always on hand, and also continue to communicate clearly with the client. Screen depicts both the schedule and the staffing for the project. The proposed time frame is 13 weeks. With 2 weeks for test planning, 3 weeks for test case development, 4 weeks for test execution, 2 weeks for regression testing, and 2 weeks for user acceptance testing. And the staffing on the job would be 1 test lead, 3 test engineers, 2 developers, and 1 project manager, 7 people in total. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn about the IPARC app.